Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1249, written by Donecia, my daughter's time-defying double. So this past weekend I was doing laundry. My washer works fine, but I have to go to the laundromat to dry the loads because my dryer went out. Well, our washer is stored in the basement. The basement door is clearly seen from the spot that I sit at in the living room. The couch that I sit on is also on the wall connecting to the back sliding patio door and the back window on the door to the left of the couch and the window to the right. My kids were all playing outside, running in and out. On a trip for my middle daughter, I asked her to go downstairs and get the laundry that I put in the washer. She went to the bathroom that is directly across from the basement. Then, when she finished, I saw the basement door open. However, I also saw her run past me and go out the back door. And by the window being on the other side of me, I heard her voice yelling at kids in the backyard. I was playing my game on my phone, but I did see and hear her. I have 3 girls, but they all look different in heights and looks, and I know the difference in their voices as well. After noting that she deliberately disobeyed me, I was a bit irritated. So after my round of the game, I was going to call her to come back inside, but I no longer heard her voice. As soon as I put the phone down to get up and get her, I see the basement door open. It was her. My middle child asked me to go get the clothes, the one I clearly saw and heard go out the back door that was right next to me. She had a bag of clothes and was looking at me like why I was looking at her so strangely. I explained what I saw and she just laughed at me. There was not enough time for her to go out the back door, swing around to the front even if she was running. Not to mention then come through the front door and go into the basement, get the clothes and come back upstairs all without me noticing. I would have heard her coming through the front door if that was even a possibility, but it just wasn't enough time. I was freaked out so bad that I pulled up my blanket over my head, turned on Glitch in the Matrix videos on YouTube, and took a nap. Case notes file 1249. My daughter's time-defying double. I think either parallel viewing or spirit travel can fit well in this instance. Or it could be a time pocket distortion, but those are very rare, especially within a home, because they tend to move around, those distorted pockets of space-time. So either your mind was connected into an alternate universe where the key difference being your daughter was playing in the backyard instead of doing laundry downstairs, as you asked her. So in that other universe, maybe you didn't ask her, so she was just outside. And that's what you were seeing temporarily for like a minute or two. Or your daughter projected her soul outward into the backyard to play, but the latter strikes me as less likely just from how rare it is to soul project while conscious. It almost always happens when sleeping, unless the individual is actively trying to accomplish it in some sort of test or environment where they're trying to do it. It's so rare people don't realize it's happening. And most don't realize you can do it. And even with a lot of focus, it can take decades of practice. So it's unlikely your daughter would be doing that. Very unlikely. Probably just parallel viewing, which probably happens all the time. We just don't notice it because the universes are similar enough where there's no real difference. Hell, it could be happening to me right now, but I'm just alone in my room, so I would never know. Nothing would be different. Bonus file written by PutisMan173. Shadows and UFOs of the Past. One day, I am essentially home alone except for my mom, who is outside in the garden. I was in the kitchen washing my hands when I felt like something was watching me. So I turn around and in the kitchen doorway, there's this kind of shadow peeking around the corner, and then it quickly goes behind the corner again. I go over to the doorway and look in the corner where it disappeared. Nothing. It just vanished. After looking back on my house's history, it turns out that it's actually fairly old, built in the 1930s. And that one of the former owners had died in the house. Not saying it was them, but it still spooks me to this day. My home has a lot of weird crap going on in and around it too. For starters, my mom and I keep hearing strange whistling coming from the woods on our property. We also keep seeing these weird red things on our CCTV. Not the ones you are thinking of. They aren't the fast, blurry ones that are most likely bugs. These ones are slow, and they almost dance in the air. Sometimes there's even 2 or 3 of them at once, and you can actually see the whole shape, so definitely not a bug causing motion blur. Definitely not a camera glitch either, because they appear on multiple different cameras. There's also been a number of UFO sightings around my house by both my mom, myself, and on one occasion, we both saw them at the same time. Case notes for the bonus file. Shadows and UFOs of the past. This made me wonder if aliens are around. Are they more capable of tracking and detecting spiritual energy? If I'm right and a ghost is the remnant energy of the individual soul rippling behind, then there would be some way to detect it, perhaps through a mechanism that can reach to a higher dimensional layer where the energy is located. So maybe aliens have this kind of technology, so they gravitate towards locations where spirits are pronounced. I might be way off base on this one, but it's an interesting idea, and maybe it explains why they're attracted to certain people as well. Maybe those people are genetically more able to attune to that other dimension, so maybe they use that for their technology. Bonus file written by Anonymous. The Dark Secrets of the Mustang Pen. For 6 months, I've been working on rehabilitating a Mustang. Someone abandoned her at the barn where I work my show horse. I didn't tell anyone. Poor baby starved for a week before I found her in the back pen. The barn owners were going to shoot her because she was totally wild and had attacked a few people, but she seemed to tolerate my presence, so I said give me 6 months. After 6 months, I had just gotten her to accept having her face touched and being led around a little by Halter. This was huge. I went to get a drink, came back, and she'd strangled herself. I was devastated, but here's the unexplainable thing. I thought she hated birds because once every couple of weeks I'd find dead crows in her pen, but I also found a dead kitten once. Okay, horses will kill small animals sometimes, but one of the cows in the adjacent pen gave birth to a dead calf. Another one was crazy. Horses who get along together would start attacking each other when placed in the adjacent round pen. My mild show horse would just run and run and run until she was exhausted in there. And yesterday, I went back to the Mustang's old pen to ensure everything was all cleaned up, no standing water or anything. And there were dead crows everywhere. They'd broken their necks. They'd gotten stuck in the Latila fence. They'd drowned themselves in the water tank. There were dead snakes and toads and tarantulas. And the cow who is crazy got moved to a different pen, where she has stopped screaming. Something is wrong with that patch of ground. Could be an underground cave in sandstone giving off some weird subterranean sound. We are demolishing the entire area and not putting any more animals back there. I have since talked to some old-time ranchers in the area. Apparently, there are several spots where animals cannot be housed or they will fight, panic, even kill themselves. I still think it's subterranean caves in the sandstone, but this area is also the center of a triangle formed by 3 nearby massacre sites. Case notes for the bonus file. The Dark Secrets of the Mustang Pen. So I thank you for saving this poor Mustang's life. It's easy to just think that the beast is wild and can't be tamed, so let's just end her. Get it over with. A sad way to think, in my opinion. Even if it ended poorly for her in the end, that you were willing to try to help means the world. I don't know if the shape of those massacre sites forming a triangle actually matters. You have the Bermuda Triangle and the Texas Triangle and stuff like that, so maybe a geometric shape does amplify certain energies. I'm not sure about that. It's like amplifying the signal some way. But I do think that concentrated negative energy can leave marks on certain locations. They linger behind. And for whatever reason, most animals are highly attuned to sensing this kind of energy. So they always react before humans do, and more potently so, as you described. My guess is if you were to live in that same pen area, it would still affect you too, maybe just slower to affect humans. And now time for the quote of the day. The real art of conversation is not only to say the right thing at the right place, but to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. Dorothy Neville. So this kind of ties into tact and having sense of, I'm maybe not the best at this. I tend to speak my mind sometimes where to the detriment of even my own point or, just normal conversation. I don't have time to edit and adjust what I want to say. So in real-time conversation, sometimes just take a pause, take a breather. It's okay to have silence. Just think about what you want to say. There's no need to rush it. None at all. Have tact, have composure, have integrity. Think about what you want to say. And is it going to bring across your point? Or is it going to make someone feel terrible? Maybe there's a way to say it in a way that doesn't make them feel terrible or gets your point across better. I think often the Socratic method is really good for that. Just asking people questions about certain things they believe that can lead down their own road. It's like helping someone get to the same place through their own feet. Because if you bring them along, sometimes they can feel pulled and people resist that. Be cautious about what you say and when you say it, and maybe sometimes it's better to say nothing at all. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.